Welcome to my Hebrew channel, Mila Braika. Today I'm going to look at what it means to be wise. And in this world, most certainly people admire people who have the smarts to figure things out, who can work the stock market, who can figure out the most fancy scientific theories and so forth. There's most certainly something to be said about being very intelligent. However, in the scriptures, intelligence and being the smarts have to come under the control of wisdom. And wisdom is having a lot of intellectual ability, but applying it in such a way that it fulfills God's will. So there's that divine element in what is true wisdom. It's always there. So we can figure things out in a big way, humanly speaking. But if we don't have that connection in with what Scripture tells us or what God is directing us to do, we'll get it all wrong in the end. So, and I keep saying, even the smartest guys are capable of making the dumbest mistakes. So, and we see it over and over again. Somebody's extremely intelligent and then destroys their life through drugs or alcohol or whatever sin they happen to be committing. So, yeah. So it's something very important for us to understand what it means to be wise. So we have here Yishma Hakam, okay, a wise man listens. We find this phrase here at the start of Proverbs 1, verses 5 and 6. The first few verses of Proverbs, of course, are very much an introduction to wisdom. And this is part of that. So Yishma Hakam, Yosef, and does Joseph, in other words, adds on by Yosef Lekah to what he has, to what he understands, is learning. So Yishma, he listens, the wise man listens, and he adds to his learning. Yosef Lekach, and he gains on knowledge. Ve Nabon Tach Bunot Yikne. And the discerning man, now there's a shared root right here, bet nun here. This one's with a holum and a bun, nabun. This one's a hirik yod, so habin, okay, habin. So, but both of them have nun bet. No, this one is bet nun, bet nun. So this is a discerning man, nabon. We're running parallel here to hakam. So nabun, a one who can, and this is derived from the preposition between. In other words, this thing right here, between. I have here between red and yellow. Okay, so between bein. Okay, and right here, this is what comes out of this one. Bet yod nun, between something, between two things. Two things present themselves, and a wise person, a discerning man, can tell the difference. And this is very true in a moral sense. When two things present themselves before you, well, one was the will of God and the other one's not. And you can discern the difference. And then you also make the decision that you are going to follow what is the will of God. So that's how we understand understanding. In other words, figuring things out so that when two things present themselves before us, we have the ability to separate right from wrong and do the right thing. So we have the ability to see between one thing and another. One thing is God's will, and the other one is not. So, this is this nabun. So, a discerning man, a man who can tell the difference between different things. Nabun, a little bit of an intensive nun here, of course. So, in fact, the nuns here are part of the root. So, bet nun, bet yod nun. Nabun, and the wise man, or discerning man, yikne, he obtains, he gets hold of, somewhat functioning, same thing happening here with kof and kof here. So yikne, he obtains. Tach bu lot, he obtains counsels, plural form here of this beginning. Habel, something that can be put together as a counsel or direction, advice. Okay, tach. Lot, he gets counsels, wise counsels, good counsels. He can discern what's between good and bad, good counsel, bad counsel. He obtains the good counsels. So nabon, tachbu lot, yikne, Lehavin, and for understanding. Okay, lehavin. Okay, with this instance is a noun here, and this has become now a verb with a preposition of purpose here. For understanding. Okay, to come towards understanding, havin, towards separating out one thing from another. Okay, lehavin. Mashal, a proverb. Okay. I'll also use for parable here, but here it's translated as proverb. That's a good thing. U me li sat, and this is also a saying. Okay, something that comes from ancient times and is just being said in public, and you can tell whether it's good or bad. You can discern whether this is going good or is going bad. For understanding the difference between good proverbs and bad proverbs, good understandings, bad understandings, good sayings, bad sayings, and then we can sort it out. There's this ability here for understanding it, for sorting it out, for dividing between one from the other. Debre, okay, the words of, construct plural here of words. This as a noun, this would be used as a verb. It would be used as to say something. Debre is something that has been said or something has been determined, and also something that has been decided. Okay, debre, debre, hak mim, of the wise. Now we have hakam here, that's a singular here, and we have hakmim, the plural of the same word right here. The wise people, the wise men. Hakamim ve hid dotam, and their parables, okay, their ancient parables. So these are all somewhat parallel words here. Mashal, salah, and hidatam, and their parables. So they can sort that out. So where do we get wisdom? We turn to God for wisdom, but also we seek counsel from those we trust, those who have shown wisdom in their own lives. Their lives are together and they're functioning well with what they're doing. And we can turn to them and say, okay, I can see that you've got things sorted out. Please share what your understanding is of this, that, or the other thing. And then you'll have the ability to also make wise decisions. Now, this is then the thing that establishes the strength of the core of wisdom. And so we've had a lot of descriptions of how to get wisdom, and here is where it's nailed right down. So it's Yarat Yehovah, Rishit, Da'at, okay, the fear of Jehovah. Now this is not a trembling fear of angst or just feeling bad about it. No, this is respect. This is something that the kind of fear that leads us into always thinking, what will Jehovah think about what I'm doing, or what will Jehovah's will is for what I'm doing. So this is the yarat, okay, fear of. It's a construct form here of fear. As the full root of yod resh aleph. Sometimes in fear the yod never assimilates, so it's always going to be there. Okay, yara. If you lose the yod in front of the resh aleph, you've gone into seeing. But here it's yarat, the fear of Jehovah. Rishonat, that's the beginning, or the Rishon is the head of. Okay, it's the top of. Rishit, that's the beginning. The very first word of the Bible is right here. So Rishit. And Genesis 1:1 begins with Bereshit. This one's Rishit, okay, the beginning of, start of, that knowledge. Okay, this one's been here. The yod has been assimilated in this root here. The root would be yod dalet ayin, but we have dalet ayin, and then also the same kind of construct ending as we have here at the front. Yerit, the fear of, and then the knowledge. Okay, so it's the beginning of knowledge. Let's see, hokma. Okay, this closed syllable, no accent, so it's going to be a kamisatu. So hokma. Mushar. So this is hokma's wisdom. Mushar is instruction. Evalim, that's the fools, the evil ones. Evalim, I think that's my mnemonic here. Evil ones are fools. So yeah, Evalim. Bazoo, they give it the bazoo. they despise it. They spit on it. They don't accept it. So it's a really bad thing for them. And we see this concept presented here in Ephesians, and I was picking this out, and I thought, wow, there's a lot here. In fact, the verses prior to this one have other things worth connecting. They connect very well with the Old Testament. Um, but here we're in Ephesians 5:15 to 17. It says here, look carefully then how you walk, not as unwise, but as wise. Come, okay, as wise, making the best use of the time, because the days are evil. Therefore, do not be foolish, but understand what the will of the Lord is. And this is where wisdom goes. It brings us to an understanding of the will of the Lord, the will of God. That's where wisdom brings us. And when we look at something and try to decide whether it's wise or not wise, that's a key question. Does this bring us closer to God, or does this haul us away from God? So that's how we come to an understanding of what is before us. Are we getting closer to God, or are we getting further from God? If it's something, ministry or work or whatever effort you're doing, and it's bringing you closer to God, it's probably a very good thing. If it's taking you away from God, watch out. So be discerning and live under the wisdom that God is giving to you. Until next time.